This video is not gonna have funny pictures and stupid jokes. You can still crack a beer, but we're gonna get serious for a minute. This could save your life. Hey, I'm Ben. I'm a huge fly fisherman, and today we're going to talk about river safety. I keep a running list of video ideas, and some things have happened recently that made me push this one right to the top. I'm talking about accidents and deaths on the river. I've heard some stories lately that scared the hell out of me. I don't even want to share them here because I want you to be able to sleep tonight. Rivers all across the western United States are high right now, and it's become clear that some of the people on these rivers are inexperienced, unprepared, and uneducated about the dangers of high water. They are a hazard to themselves, or possibly to you, or maybe you're the person I'm talking about. This video will be about boats, but if you're a banky, some of it will still apply to you. Water is dangerous. Boats are dangerous. You could die. I don't even want to put this gently. You could die out there. So let's talk about some things you can do to increase your chances of coming home after a day of fishing. This video is not just about high water. All of this applies to any day on the river. This is not a comprehensive list or guide to everything about river safety, but it should get you off on the right foot and give you some things to think about. First, let's talk about river safety before you even leave home. Check the flows. There are lots of good apps out there to check how high the river is. If you're unsure what this number means, use the historical data to compare high and low flows. Basically, if you fish a river in August and it's usually 200 CFS and it's at 5,000 right now, it's probably a good idea to stay home. Besides, the fishing probably won't be very good at that level anyway. If you're still having trouble interpreting the flow data, try calling a rafting shop if you can find one, or a fly shop, maybe even a shuttle service, and ask them about the current flows. If you're into Facebook, there are a lot of local groups there too. But really, if you're relying on info from the sources I just mentioned, you should probably just bag it and do something different. Okay, let's move on. This is an obvious one. PFDs. Personal flotation devices, life jackets. Please wear them. If you fall into the water, you will be glad that you have one. The water is cold and powerful. A PFD could save your life. I had a guy in my boat once and I offered him a PFD and he goes, "I don't wear PFDs." And that is still one of the dumbest things I've ever heard anyone say. Wearing a PFD doesn't make you less cool or less manly or whatever the hell that guy was thinking. Wearing a PFD makes you smart. It makes you safe and more likely to go home at the end of the day. Let me tell you something else I've heard many times when I offer someone a PFD. I'll put it on if something happens. What? No, you won't have time to do that because you'll already be in the water. Putting your PFD on your seat behind you is as useful as having it on the moon. When something bad happens, it usually happens quickly, like quicker than you can react. You're taking a sip of beer 1 second and then literally 1 second later, you are in the water. I can't stress this enough. Things happen very quickly. You won't have time to think or put on your PFD. Wear your PFD, make sure it fits well and isn't too loose, but also know that it's not a guarantee. There have been 2 deaths on my local river this year, and both of them were wearing PFDs. I just think you should know that. Okay, let's talk about fishing boats and the hazards that come with drift boats and rafts. First, let's talk about anchors. You cannot anchor in fast water. It will sink your boat, even a raft. If the anchor catches, it will pull the stern underwater and you're toast. Don't put a knot in the end of your anchor rope. You'd rather lose your anchor than your life or the lives of your passengers. The day I started using an anchor on my boat is also the day I started carrying a knife on my PFD. If your anchor drops accidentally, or if anything weird happens with the anchor rope, you should be ready to cut that rope. And remember, things happen quickly, so if your knife is stowed away somewhere, it's useless. Have a rescue knife on you or mounted somewhere within arm's reach. If you are floating a river in a boat, another thing you need to be aware of is entrapment and entanglement hazards. If you've ever fly fished out of a raft, you know there are all kinds of annoying things that can grab your fly line. those things can also grab you and kill you. The anchor rope, frame parts, loose straps, damn near anything on the boat could tangle you up if things go sideways. Again, a good idea to have a knife on you. More boat stuff. Please don't tie anything alive to a boat, like your dog or your kid. Some of you might think that's a bit of a stretch, but it's not. It happens too often. Do not tie anything alive to the boat. If the boat sinks or gets flipped upside down, you want that thing to be not attached to the boat. Let's talk about ability, like how good are you at rowing? Do you trust yourself to navigate this river safely? You have to know your ability. You have to know your limits. If you would like to get better at rowing, you can take classes. You can also take river safety classes like Swiftwater Rescue or something like that. Get educated. I think a lot of this boils down to making conservative decisions. If you want to go home to your family at the end of the day, don't be afraid to back off or back down. A 14-inch brown trout is not worth losing your life or killing your friend. If it's your boat, you are responsible for everything that happens. You are making decisions that could affect everyone. And if you don't know what you're doing, you need to think about this stuff seriously. I will say this as many times as I need to. You could die. The river will kill you so quickly and easily, and you're gone. They might not even find your body. Make conservative decisions. The river will be there when you are ready for it. I want to finish up here by talking about some of my experiences. I wasn't born knowing how to row a boat, but I've learned a lot, and I also know that there is a ton of stuff that I still need to learn. I remember the first time I rowed people down a river in my own boat. I'm pretty sure I was more scared than any of my passengers. I remember telling them that I'm not sure if I can do this, and I want everyone to know that and be okay with that. We were all fine, but I still get that nervous feeling in my stomach all the time when I'm rowing something serious. We were fine that day, but I've also seen plenty of shit go down on the river. I haven't flipped a boat, but I've seen it happen several times. I've rescued those people. I've gotten stuck on rocks, in rapids. I've fallen out of the boat. We've broken oars, lost oars, and oar locks. I've popped a boat before. That's why, even after rowing thousands of miles, I get that scared and nervous feeling in my stomach when the consequences are high, which really is anytime you get in a boat. I get that feeling when I have my kids and family in the boat. My kids have grown up on the river. They've been rafting since they were 6 months old. We do multi-day trips, and they're pretty seasoned river kids now. But every single time I put them in a boat, with my wife, with my mom, I think to myself, is this just a terrible idea? Am I making a huge mistake here? What if something happens? It scares the hell out of me every time. I am responsible for anything that happens. There is a certain amount of risk involved with this stuff that we do, but it's not enough to keep me from doing it, especially if I can be educated and prepared for what might happen out there. Because if you do it enough, things are gonna happen. Fishing and boating and fishing from a boat is super fun. If it's you and some pals or your family, it's a great way to spend a day or a few days, even with high water. I want you to get out there and experience it, but I want you to do it safely, and I want you to return home at the end of the day. And that's gonna do it for this one. I know this is a little different than my usual stuff, but it needed to be said, and it needed to be said right now. Thank you, as always, for watching another one of my Huge Fly Fisherman videos. If you have something to add that I didn't cover, please leave a comment. It will help everyone out. I will be back as soon as I can with another video about fly fishing for you. Until then, please respect the power of the river and stay huge. It's raining. I don't even care. It's nasty out there right now, man. Please be safe.